Hello, welcome to another thought experiment. David Barron here. I want to present you with the idea. I've published and written about this before, but it's the idea of creating for yourself an alter ego. Those of you who know me know that I have had an alter ego that I promoted quite a bit under the name of Dentalian Jones. And I wrote some books under that alter ego, and it worked very nicely for me. But I don't use it much anymore. So I wanted to talk about how to choose and make an alter ego and consider the power of having that. First of all, you have to recognize, I guess, an alter ego is not you. It is, however, a you that you would like to be or like to become. The alter ego, to determine the qualities of this alter ego, I would first ask, what are the things you want to do? And consider the things that this particular ideal alter ego would be doing. Ask yourself, what kind of person would you want to be that this alter ego would personify? And also ask yourself, what kind of world do you want to live in that this alter ego would be a part of? All of these questions, very important, will help you form the type of alter ego that you're creating. So an alter ego can be particularly useful when you feel, first of all, that you're lacking skills. Long ago, I was not a skilled hypnotist, and I wanted that skill. So one of the things I did when I actually started my hypnosis business is I imagined a version of me that was not just a good hypnotist, but the best in the area. And I did everything to personify that. I thought about what kind of website this hypnotist would have, how he would think of his competition, how he would treat his clients and the people who worked with him. And once I got a clear picture of that, that was sort of the alter ego. I did not have a name for this alter ego, but I knew how I wanted to behave, and I would sort of move into that alter ego. So think of the skills that you would need to learn. Now, you don't have to have these skills now. You just want to become a person who is receptive to learning these skills. That will be the first start of your alter ego. The other thing, what kind of experiences are you lacking that this alter ego would have? And again, this alter ego that you're having or creating for yourself would be built on a series of experiences that make them who they are. And so that will help you understand your alter ego. It doesn't mean you're going to have these experiences. It means you're going to work to become the person who lives as if they did have them. And the other thing you have to do most importantly is do your classic ecology check. You have to make sure that this alter ego you're creating for yourself will not mess you up. So in other words, you got to make sure that it doesn't get you in trouble. This alter ego that I created, Dentalian Jones, was not necessarily who I was, but he did have a bunch of qualities I needed to personify. And he was somewhat of an act of rebellion about the situation I was in at the time. And it worked really well for me. But I also found over time, as I started to gain the skills that Dentalian had, he became less interesting to me. And so when I started to take in these skills and realized that this alter ego, this other persona that I had, was not necessary, in fact, held me back. So I just discontinued him. He is not the first alter ego I've ever had. He's just the one I talk about the most. A question you might want to ask is it possible for an alter ego to usurp the self? And my thought is it's possible, but you have to sort of avoid the ecology check. Um, you can have an alter ego who is completely opposite of you and could get you in trouble. So be aware of that. There are people who develop alter egos that don't know one from the other. That is very hard to do, very dangerous. It's not likely you are to do it because it takes either a mental break or a schizophrenic sort of break in order to do it. So it's not likely to happen, but it is mildly possible. So I want you to consider the qualities you would want to take on and consider what kind of alter ego you would personify that had these skills that would make becoming the person that you want to be. I think another question I want to ask you to consider is about how would this alter ego be an example of the world you want to live in? Now, this is a very big question. I think you can mostly agree that there are things in the world that are not ideal. If you were to become the person who personifies all of your ideals of how the world is, and that's entirely up to you. I'm not going to prescribe anything. What would that alter ego be? I can think of a few people who live with such a quality of integrity. They are very diligently and sincerely trying very hard to be the person who lives in a world that they consider ideal. And they radiate it in all of their interactions. I hope that makes sense. In the comments, leave your thoughts. I'd love to know them. Thank you so much.